In the gilded halls of Rome, a young Caesar learned, men are more apt to repay an injury than a benefit, because gratitude is a burden, but revenge a gain. Tacitus. Chapter 1. The Silent Betrayal. Silence, a weapon. While they chatter about truth, remember, every unnecessary word is a concession. We shall uncover how your need to speak betrays your power. The world whispers about transparency, about sharing your truth. They call it authenticity. This is a lie, a carefully constructed illusion designed to extract your power. Right now, you are bleeding influence, leaking control with every unnecessary word. As Cesare Borgia understood in the brutal landscape of Renaissance Italy, those who spoke most often revealed their weaknesses first, handing their enemies the invisible means of control without a single blow. The first lie your silence uncovers is your need for validation. When you feel the urge to fill a quiet space, to explain, to justify, you betray an insecurity. You signal that you require their agreement, their understanding, their absolution. This is a weakness they will exploit. Think about the last time someone gave you a blank stare after you made a point. Your instinct was to add more, to rephrase, to pile on details. Every extra word you offered became a point of attack, a new vulnerability. They listened, you talked, you lost. Here's how you disarm this reflex. Embrace the uncomfortable pause. Let the silence hang. Watch them squirm. Their discomfort is your power. They expected you to flinch, to break first. When you don't, their own insecurities begin to surface. If you announce your intentions, your grand plans, people will judge you, doubt you, or subtly sabotage you. Their skepticism becomes a weight. But if you quietly execute, there is nothing for them to criticize until the results are undeniable. Cesare Borgia did not announce his consolidation of Romagna. He simply took it, piece by brutal piece, letting the silence of his actions speak louder than any decree. The second lie your silence exposes is your desire for approval. You want to be liked, to be accepted, so you overshare. You offer personal details, opinions, or even confessions, hoping to build rapport. This is not connection. It is a cheap trade of information for fleeting goodwill. Every time you reveal a secret, a fear, a private ambition, you hand them a weapon. You give them ammunition. They may not use it today or tomorrow, but it sits there, loaded, in their arsenal. Nothing you say can ever be unsaid. Watch what happens when you introduce a new idea in a meeting and then immediately start defending it. The moment you open your mouth to explain, you invite dissent. You signal that the idea itself needs bolstering, that it is not strong enough to stand on its own. Here's how you flip the script. Present your point, then retreat into observation. Let them be the ones to ask questions, to seek clarification. If they need more, they will come to you. You become the source, not the supplicant, who studied power in its rawest form, understood that a leader who constantly seeks consensus projects weakness. He knew that the appearance of conviction, even when unsupported by words, commands respect. What he understood is that silence is not empty. It is pregnant with authority. The third lie your silence uncovers is your inability to control your own narrative. When you feel compelled to react to every accusation, every slight, every gossip, you allow others to dictate your emotional state, to choose your battles. You become a puppet dancing to their strings. They bait you, they provoke you, they wait for you to lash out, to make a mistake, to confirm their preconceived notions. Your outburst, your desperate defense becomes the evidence they needed to condemn you. You validate their narrative simply by engaging with it. Think about public figures who endlessly debate their critics. They lose their dignity, their focus, and ultimately their message. Their energy is drained fighting shadows instead of building their empire. Your time is a finite resource. Every moment spent in explanation is a moment not spent in advancement. Here's how you reclaim your power. Meet baseless accusations with absolute silence. Let the fire burn itself out. Most gossip starves without your oxygen. Your refusal to engage denies them the satisfaction of a reaction, and more importantly, denies them control over your emotional landscape. Cesare Borgia simply crushed his enemies. He rarely argued with them. But there's another insidious leak, one that drains your future before it even arrives. What is it? Chapter 2. The Void of Power. The silent killer. It's not the spoken word, but the unsaid. Your uncalculated silence, a gaping void, will always be filled by another's ambition. But there's another insidious leak, one that drains your future before it even arrives. What is it? It is the void you create when your silence isn't a strategy, but a reactive reflex. This isn't the quiet strength of observation. It is the panicked pause, the moment you have no answer, the empty space they rush to fill with their own agenda. Your uncalculated silence screams lack of control, an open invitation for others to dominate the narrative and the space around you. Picture Louis XIV in early modern France, presiding over his royal council. His ministers would present their cases, argue their points, jostle for his attention, eager for a nod or a word. Yet, Louis XIV would often say nothing. He would sit, observe, his gaze piercing, his expression unreadable. This wasn't because he was unsure. It was a deliberate act of power, forcing his advisors to expose their full hand while revealing none of his own. This silent observation is the opposite of the void. Reactive silence comes from being caught off guard, a moment of weakness that signals you are searching for a response, or worse, have none at all. It tells them you're playing defense, waiting for direction. They sense the opening, they move in, they dictate the terms, because you offered no terms of your own. Watch what happens when you are challenged, or when a difficult question is thrown your way, and your first instinct is to simply wait, hoping the answer will materialize. That blank space, that hesitation, is a vacuum. People will naturally rush to fill it with their own interpretations, their own judgments, often to your detriment. They will project their fears and assumptions onto your quietness, and those projections solidify into reality. Here's how you use this. You must cultivate a silence that isn't empty, but full. A silence that is a weapon of observation, not a shield of ignorance. This means allowing others to speak first, to lay out their arguments, their hidden motives, their insecurities. Let them exhaust their energy, reveal their true intentions. Your silence, then, becomes a crucible where their words are tested, their weaknesses exposed. Louis XIV understood that true power wasn't about the loudest voice, but the most controlled one. He let the currents of opinion flow around him, observing their direction, before ever dipping his own oar into the water. This wasn't passive, it was predatory. His calculated non-reaction forced those around him to overcompensate, to reveal more than they intended, giving him immense leverage. The difference is stark. If you announce your confusion with a blank stare, people will dismiss your capability. But if you quietly absorb information, allowing others to over-explain themselves, there's nothing for them to exploit. Your stillness becomes a platform from which you launch a precise, devastating response, or simply withhold it, leaving them to wonder. Cardinal Richelieu, who shaped the very foundations of the absolute monarchy Louis XIV inherited, once stated, "If you give me 6 lines written by the hand of the most honest of men, I will find something in them which will hang him." What he understood is that every word spoken is a potential vulnerability, every silence a calculated defense. He knew the power of an unrevealed thought, the danger in premature commitment. When you rush to fill silence, you are handing them the 6 lines. You are giving them the material to use against you. Your goal should be to gather their lines, to collect their vulnerabilities, to understand their game before you ever show your hand. This is the strategic silence that Louis XIV mastered, transforming a moment of inaction into a wellspring of intelligence. The fool speaks because he thinks he must. The strategist listens because he knows he doesn't have to. Your silence, when wielded deliberately, becomes a force multiplier. It forces others to talk more, to reveal more, to exhaust their positions, while you conserve your energy, gather your data, and wait for the precise moment to strike. This isn't about shyness. It's about sovereignty over your own space and your own narrative. When you deny others the ability to bait a reaction, to force a hurried answer, you deny them control, you keep your counsel, you keep your power. Your calculated non-reaction becomes an impenetrable wall against their attempts to define or diminish you. They expect you to engage, to explain, to justify. But when you simply observe, when your stillness is the only response, you subvert their expectations, you refuse to play by their rules. This forces them into an uncomfortable position, where they must confront the unsettling reality of your self-possession. This deliberate absence of noise allows you to see the true intentions behind their words. You observe the tells, the shifts in their posture, the subtle anxieties in their eyes. This information is priceless, and it is only revealed when you create the space for them to expose it rather than rushing in to fill it. The void of power isn't about being silent. It's about being unprepared for silence, allowing it to become a weakness rather than a strength. Your silence must be heavy with thought, dense with observation, full of an unshakable inner resolve. It is the silence of the hunter watching his prey, not the silence of the rabbit caught in the headlights. Master this, and your very presence becomes a source of subtle pressure. They will find themselves talking more, trying harder, simply to get a reaction from you, giving you an even greater advantage. Your refusal to engage on their terms ensures you are always operating from a position of strength, always observing, always planning. But there's an even deeper lie your silence might be telling, one that exposes your hidden intentions before you even act. What is it? Chapter 3. Weakness unspoken. Silence, a weapon. When you speak, speak with purpose. But when you remain silent, you compel them to listen, to fear. Picture Otto von Bismarck in 19th century Prussia, weaving together a new German empire from scattered, squabbling states. While kings and diplomats chattered, Bismarck moved with a calculating quiet. His adversaries tried to read his face, to catch a slip of the tongue, but he gave them nothing. This deliberate withholding, this strategic refusal to speak when expected, is how you project power, not weakness. When you rush to fill every silence, when you scramble to explain yourself, you reveal a desperate need for external validation. You show them you crave their agreement, their understanding, their acceptance. This hunger for approval, this constant seeking of reassurance, it is a gaping wound they will not hesitate to exploit. You become readable, predictable, and therefore controllable. Watch what happens when you're cornered in an argument or questioned about a difficult decision. Your instinct is often to defend, to justify, to throw out words like sandbags against a rising flood. Each hurried word confirms your insecurity. Each unnecessary explanation is a concession of power. You move from a position of detached strength to one of frantic self-preservation. Here's how you shut that down. You embrace the void. Let the silence hang heavy, almost uncomfortably so. When they probe, when they demand immediate answers, offer only a concise statement or a look that suggests your actions require no elaborate defense. Your quiet confidence forces them to fill the space, often revealing their own anxieties in the process. If you loudly declare your plans, your intentions, your future moves, you hand your enemies a perfect blueprint. They will preempt, they will undermine, they will find ways to intercept your progress before you even begin. But if you quietly execute, if you let your results be the only announcement, They are left guessing, reacting to a game they don't fully understand. Otto von Bismarck understood this better than anyone. He didn't debate the path to German unification with every petty prince or foreign power. He simply initiated the necessary wars, made the strategic alliances, and let the new map of Europe do the talking. What he understood is that true power doesn't need to argue its existence. It simply is. Your insecurity becomes a tether. Others will pull it, tugging you into their dramas, their narratives, their games of control. They'll force your hand, knowing you're too desperate for their good opinion to simply walk away, to simply remain silent and observe. This makes you a puppet, dancing to the strings of their expectations. Consider a negotiation. The person who speaks first, who volunteers too much information, who explains why they need a certain outcome, immediately loses ground. They expose their cards, their desperation, their absolute breaking point. The silent observer, however, extracts information while revealing nothing. Instead, cultivate an aura of calculated inscrutability. Let them wonder. Let them project their own fears and desires onto your silent canvas. This ambiguity makes you unpredictable, and the unpredictable is far harder to control. They cannot fight what they cannot define. They cannot manipulate what they cannot understand. Winston Churchill, a master of wartime strategy and communication, famously declared that, in wartime, truth is so precious that she should always be attended by a bodyguard of lies. While he spoke of national secrets, the principle applies to your personal power. Protect your truth, your intentions, your inner workings. Give them just enough to distract, never enough to truly know. The fool thinks loud proclamations and constant self-promotion equal confidence. They mistake sheer volume for genuine conviction. The truly powerful, however, move with a quiet certainty. Their silence is not fear. It is the calm before the storm. It is the steady hand of someone who knows exactly what they are doing and sees no need to explain it to anyone else. Every explanation you offer, every detail you volunteer about your motives or struggles, is a piece of your energy, a fragment of your mystique, given away for free. You leak power slowly, steadily, until there's nothing left but an empty shell for others to walk through, to fill with their own narratives about who you are. By refusing to explain, to justify, to seek external validation through endless chatter, you force others to confront their own insecurities. They will respect your self-containment and perhaps even fear the implications of what you are not saying. This quiet strength builds an impenetrable barrier around your true self. This disciplined silence protects your flank, but there's an even more insidious lie your actions, or lack thereof, can betray. It's the invisible chain that binds you, hidden in plain sight, pulling you towards predictable, exploitable behaviors. What is it? Chapter 4. The Hidden Blade. The self-explanation, a gift to your enemies. To offer justifications, to speak your intentions, is to grant them the very weapons they seek to wield against you. This is the blade you offer them, the one they use to cut you down, the self-explanation. They don't need to guess your weaknesses, your intentions, your fears. You hand them the blueprint, willingly, openly. Remember Julius Caesar, standing at the Rubicon River, on the brink of civil war with Rome itself. He knew what a single word, a single justification could cost him. He understood that once a decision is announced, once an explanation is offered, all ambiguity vanishes. What Julius Caesar understood is that a definitive statement invites definitive opposition, giving your enemies a clear target to attack. It provides them with the precise data they need to plot your downfall, to undermine your authority. Every time you explain yourself, you move from an offensive position to a defensive position, surrendering ground you never had to concede. The moment they know you need their understanding, their approval, their acceptance, they have leverage over you. You trade power for temporary relief, for the illusion of control. Your words become chains, binding you to their expectations, their interpretations, their judgment. You justify. You validate their right to question you. You invite their scrutiny. This is not a conversation. It is a confession, a silent plea for absolution. Watch what happens when you try to justify a boundary you set. You say no to a demanding colleague or a manipulative friend. They push back, sensing your hesitation, your inherent need to be liked. You feel the pressure, the urge to soften the blow, to clarify your reasons. You start listing the reasons why you cannot do X, why you need Y. You think you are being reasonable, rational. You are not. You are bleeding information. You are revealing the fault lines in your conviction, inviting them to probe deeper, to exploit your perceived weakness. Here's how you wield the hidden blade. You simply act. You set the boundary. You make the decision. You move forward. There is no explanation, no apology, no justification. Your actions speak for themselves with an authority words can never command. Your silence speaks louder, forcing others to interpret your moves without your narrative. This creates an unassailable position, a fortress built not of words, but of immutable consequence. Let them wonder, let them guess your motivations. Their confusion is your shield, their speculation, your advantage. Julius Caesar did not send envoys to explain his march across the Rubicon. He did not issue a press release detailing his grievances against the Senate, inviting debate. He simply crossed the river. His act was the statement. His legionaries were the only argument needed. By refusing to engage in verbal sparring, by denying his enemies the very information they needed, he made their defense impossible. They were left reacting to a fait accompli, not debating a proposal. He gave them no time to organize a counter-argument or to sow dissent. If you announce your plans, if you detail your strategy, people will dissect it, they will find the flaws, they will prepare their counter-moves, crafting their attacks based on the data you provided. They will use your own words against you, twisting your intentions, undermining your resolve. But if you quietly execute, if you let your results manifest without fanfare, there's nothing for them to grab onto. There's nothing to attack. Your silence starves their opposition of the intelligence they desperately need. It forces them into a reactive stance, always one step behind. Alexander the Great understood the power of an unspoken threat, the force of a momentum that needed no verbal validation. When asked how he conquered so many lands, he did not offer detailed battle plans or strategic analyses. He simply pointed to his army. He understood that true power announces itself through conquest, not through rhetoric. His actions, his victories, his undisputed authority were the only explanation required for his dominion. Silence amplifies impact. Explanation dilutes it, reducing might to mere words. Your explanations are data points for your enemies. They are blueprints for your manipulators. They are opportunities for your detractors to find the weak spot, the fault line in your conviction, the chinks in your armor. This is ammunition freely offered, a gift to your adversaries. When you stop talking, you stop giving them ammunition. You force them to fight in the dark, without a map, without a guide. You force them to guess your next move, your true strength, your hidden agenda. Nothing leaks, nothing drains, everything compounds. This is not about being secretive for its own sake. It is about strategic opacity. It is about protecting your vital internal resources, your will, your focus. It is about denying others control over your narrative, over your future. This quiet power makes you formidable. This makes you dangerous. This makes you free. But even with this hidden blade sharpened, with your silence as your shield, there is still another subtle trick of the mind, a silent betrayal lurking in plain sight. It's a self-inflicted wound, a quiet surrender that most people never even realize they are making. What is this silent capitulation? Chapter 5, Echoes of Conquest. Silent capitulation, a fatal flaw in this game of power. They demand your transparency, a key to your internal world. But sometimes, the most potent message is unspoken. You speak, you explain, you clarify, This is a silent capitulation, the belief your intentions need to be understood and validated by others. They tell you to be transparent, to communicate openly. This is a lie. It is a weakness, a chink that allows them to pry, to demand, to control. What they truly want is the keys to your internal world. Picture Vlad the Impala in medieval Wallachia. His enemies, approaching his stronghold, heard no drums, received no threats. Instead, they saw it, a forest of thousands of impaled men, their own fallen comrades, lining the road for miles. Not a word was spoken. His silence amplified the horror, turning every rustle into an echo of impending doom. This was not just brutality, it was psychological warfare. An act entirely predicated on the chilling power of the unspoken. This is echoes of conquest. Every time you feel the urge to explain yourself, you attempt to manage their interpretation of you. This is a fool's errand. It drains your focus, diverts your energy, revealing your need for their approval. The moment they sense this, they gain power. Your quiet resolve becomes frantic justification. Watch what happens when you hold your tongue in a tense situation. They will push, prod, bait you to talk. They expect you to flinch, to break the silence. Most people do. They crack under pressure, spilling thoughts, fears, vulnerabilities, all to alleviate the discomfort. They rush to fill the void. Here's how you wield deliberate non-explanation. Here's how you wield deliberate non-explanation. You resist the urge to fill the void. You let the silence hang heavy and uncomfortable. You watch their eyes dart, their posture shift, their own internal anxieties begin to surface. When they demand answers, you offer a simple nod, a slow blink, a calm, unwavering gaze. You don't confirm, you don't deny, you don't rationalize. You simply exist in the space you create, a statue of unreadable intent. This forces them to invent their own conclusions, to project their deepest fears and wildest suspicions onto your blank canvas. Think about a negotiation table where one side lays out all its cards, explaining every move, every intention, every constraint. They speak freely, openly. The other side, they listen, they ask probing questions. They offer no insight into their own position, no glimpse into their priorities. Who holds the power in that room? The one who speaks is giving away data points. The one who remains silent is gathering them. They are forcing the other party to exhaust their arguments, to reveal their weaknesses, to negotiate against their own shadows. If you announce your plans, your ambitions, your next strategic move, people will instantly categorize you. They will form opinions, build expectations, and then they will watch for you to stumble. They will look for reasons to doubt, to criticize, to dismiss. Your words become a target, they become a leash. But if you quietly execute, if you move with the precision of a predator stalking its prey, there's nothing for them to track. There's no grand pronouncement to fail against, no boast to mock. You simply arrive at your destination, an undeniable fact. Consider Julius Caesar. He rarely telegraphed his grand designs. His movements were swift, his decisions often made in the deepest privacy, then executed with brutal efficiency. When he crossed the Rubicon, he didn't send a messenger ahead to explain his intentions to the Senate. He didn't issue a press release, he simply acted. What he understood is that by maintaining an impenetrable silence regarding his ultimate aims, he kept his enemies constantly off balance. They were forced to react to his sudden, decisive moves rather than anticipate and counter them. His silence amplified his speed. His quiet resolve became their sudden defeat. Watch what happens when you step into a new environment, a new office, a new social circle, and you hold back. You observe, you listen, you offer minimal information about yourself. People will initially try to slot you into a predefined box. They will ask questions, trying to uncover your background, your status, your vulnerabilities. But if you maintain that calm reserve, if you deflect their probes with polite but uninformative responses, their curiosity morphs into intrigue. They start to assign you qualities, positive ones, built on the absence of flaws they haven't seen. They project strength, confidence, even a mysterious power onto you, simply because you haven't given them anything to undermine. This isn't about being rude or uncommunicative, it's about strategic withholding. It's about understanding that every word you utter is a potential vulnerability, a piece of yourself you cannot retract. The less you say, the less you expose. The less you expose, the less ground your enemies have to attack. You become a fortress without visible windows. They have no entry points, no weaknesses to exploit, no crack in the armor to target. They are forced to guess, and in their guessing, they reveal more about themselves than you ever would by speaking. But there's another insidious lie your silence can uncover. One that strips away the false masks people wear, exposing their true nature. What is it? Chapter 6, Inner Fortress. Silence, a weapon, but a trembling hand reveals its weakness. We will dissect the inner fortress where true power and utter ruin are forged in the heart of man. The lie your silence exposes is the chaos within you. It's the desperate tremor behind the forced calm, the internal storm that makes true, impenetrable silence impossible. Your attempts to withhold words become a performance, an unstable dam holding back a flood, and everyone around you feels the pressure building. They see the effort, the strain, the fear of eruption. Picture Marcus Aurelius in ancient Rome, presiding over an empire riddled with war, plague, and betrayal. His world was a constant whirlwind of external demands, yet his writings reveal a relentless pursuit of internal order. He understood that true power wasn't in commanding armies, but in absolute command of self. Your environment might be different, but the internal battle is the same. When your silence isn't a deliberate choice, born of inner strength, it's a weakness. It's a pause filled with anxiety, resentment, or a desperate need to control the narrative. This isn't silence, it's a holding pattern, and everyone in the room can sense the turbulence. They wait for you to flinch, to break, to confirm their suspicions. Your internal discord leaks out. It manifests in micro-expressions you can't hide, in the tension of your jaw, the slight darting of your eyes, the unnatural rigidity of your posture. These are tiny cracks in your facade, and the observant will see them. They don't need your words when your body screams your true emotional state. Think about the last time you tried to remain silent during an intense confrontation, but inside, you were boiling. You held your tongue, but your face flushed, your hands clenched, your breath quickened. Your silence didn't convey strength. It screamed suppressed rage, fear, or insecurity. It revealed the lie of your composure, giving them all the information they needed. This is the enemy within, the lack of self-command that prevents you from choosing true silence. It's the impulsive surge of emotion that demands expression, even when logic dictates restraint. If you haven't mastered your internal world, your external silence will always be fragile, always on the verge of shattering. Here's how you build an inner fortress that makes your silence a weapon, not a tell. You begin by observing your internal landscape without judgment. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily, documenting his thoughts and reactions, dissecting them, and then choosing how to respond or not respond to the world. He understood that you are not your thoughts nor your emotions, but the conscious observer of them. You must create distance between your true self and the fleeting storms of anger, fear, or frustration. Watch them rise and fall, like waves on a distant shore. Do not engage them, do not fuel them, just observe. This daily mental discipline is the foundation of genuine composure. When an external trigger tries to provoke you, you don't react immediately. Instead, you retreat into this mental space. You let the feeling pass through you without grasping it. This isn't suppression, it's detachment. It's the conscious act of choosing not to be hijacked by your own primal responses. Seneca, another master of self-command, understood that true wealth isn't about what you possess, but what you can willingly relinquish. What he understood is that freedom from external pressures comes from the internal ability to let things go, to not be enslaved by every fleeting emotion or provocation. Your reactions are your only true possessions. Choose them wisely. If you announce your intentions, your anger, your hurt, You give people an entry point. They know your triggers, they know your weaknesses, but if you quietly cultivate an unshakable inner calm, there's nothing for them to grab onto. Your silence becomes a void, a blank screen onto which they project their own fears and assumptions. They will try to provoke you. They will throw barbs and wait for a reaction. Watch what happens when you meet their aggression with genuine, unwavering silence, a silence born not of fear, but of profound internal control. Their tactics lose their power. Their words echo in an empty chamber. They become desperate, revealing their own instability in their attempts to rattle you. This is the power of the inner fortress. Your calm becomes contagious, your composure unsettling. They don't know what to do with someone they cannot reach, someone whose internal world remains a mystery. Your silence, once a betrayer, becomes your ultimate defense. But there's an even more profound deception, one that manipulates the very air people breathe, making them believe a reality that exists only in your mind. What is it? Chapter 7, Beyond the Words. The unspoken truth. What lies beyond the carefully crafted lie? We shall explore the power of silence and how it can be wielded as a weapon. Picture Friedrich Nietzsche in 19th century Germany, a man who saw through the convenient fictions of his age, who understood that language itself could be a veil, a limitation. He knew that the deepest truths, the most dangerous intentions, often lie beyond what is spoken. This is the ultimate deception. Using silence not just as a shield, but as a scalpel. They teach you to articulate, to express, to share your inner world. They tell you vulnerability builds connection. This is a lie, a weakness dressed as strength. Every word you speak offers a target, a blueprint for manipulation. Your silence, however, makes you unreadable. It forces them to project their own fears and desires onto your blank canvas. They will fill the void with their own anxieties, their own anxieties, their own insecurities, revealing more about themselves than you ever could by speaking. Think about a predator stalking its prey. Does it announce its intentions? Does it explain its strategy? No, it observes. It waits. It strikes only when the moment is perfect. Having learned everything it needs from the target's unsuspecting movements, your silence makes you that predator. Here's how you wield this invisible weapon. You master the art of the pregnant pause. When asked a probing question, do not rush to answer. Let the silence hang heavy, forcing them to squirm, to elaborate, to reveal why they asked in the first place. Their discomfort is your intelligence. If you immediately respond, you validate their right to pry. But if you hold your tongue, their question becomes an intrusion, their curiosity an exposed nerve. They will backtrack. They will fill the air with more words, and every single one is a data point for you. Friedrich Nietzsche understood that much of what people say is not truth, but a desperate attempt to create meaning, to control perception. He wrote, "The word is a symbol for the inner stimulus, not for the object." What he understood is that their words are about their internal state, not external reality. Your true power lies in observing these internal states without comment. You see the subtle tells, the slight shift in eye contact, the nervous fidget, the overcompensating laugh. These are the cracks in their facade, and silence allows you to study them uninterrupted. Watch what happens when you refuse to engage in a petty argument. They expect you to defend, to explain, to justify. When you offer nothing but a steady gaze, their internal monologue goes wild. They interpret your silence as disdain, as superiority, as a quiet victory. They will try harder to provoke you, to elicit a reaction, but every failed attempt drains their energy while yours remains intact. The less you speak, the more valuable your words become, and the more impactful your eventual chosen response. Socrates, that master of inquiry, rarely delivered long monologues. Instead, he asked questions and then he listened. He used silence after a pointed query to let the speaker unravel their own flawed logic. He understood that true understanding often comes from letting others talk themselves into a corner. This is not about being rude or dismissive. It is about strategic economy. You are not withholding because you have nothing to say, but because you have everything to gain by saying nothing. Every unspoken word is a saved bullet, a hidden card. They will accuse you of being secretive, of being cold. Let them. These accusations are merely their attempts to force you back into a system where their rules apply, where your information is easily accessible. Do not comply. The less you explain your motives, the more potent your actions become. Imagine a move made without prior declaration, without fanfare. It simply is. It lands with finality because there was no expectation, no chance to prepare. Friedrich Nietzsche's own life was a testament to the power of operating beyond good and evil, beyond the conventional language used to judge men. He spoke through his work, letting his profound silence on public opinion amplify the shock of his philosophy. He did not waste breath on those unwilling to truly listen. This final deception is the ultimate form of self-control. It demands discipline to resist the urge to fill the void, to justify, to explain. But the reward is absolute command over your own psychological landscape and profound influence over theirs. Your silence is not empty. It is pregnant with observation, loaded with calculation, heavy with unstated intent. It is the void from which all your power emerges. The world speaks. You listen. Your silence does not ask, it takes. And then it strikes.